In 1906, the Muslim League was created, but it was not asking for Pakistan. In 1930, a poet stood in Allahabad and described a Muslim state in northwestern India. 3 years later, a student in Cambridge printed a new word, Pakistan. But here is the mystery. Iqbal did not use the word Pakistan. Rahmat Ali did. And the Muslim League itself still had not demanded a separate country. So how did 3 different paths begin moving toward the same future? To understand that, we have to return to the years after 1906, when Muslim politics was still searching for its direction. And the idea of Pakistan did not yet have a clear name, map, or plan. The Muslim League began as a political organization to protect Muslim rights and representation in British India. Its early leaders used constitutional methods. They did not begin with a demand to divide India. Then came an important change in 1909. The British introduced separate electorates for Muslims in legislative councils. This meant Muslim voters could elect Muslim representatives in certain seats. This did not create Pakistan, but it gave Muslim political identity a formal place inside the constitutional system. Muslim leaders now had a recognized way to argue that their community needed its own political safeguards, but only 2 years later, trust in the British was badly shaken. In 1911, the British canceled the partition of Bengal, which many Muslims in eastern Bengal had supported, because it gave them greater political and educational space. Muslim League records from 1912 show open disappointment over the decision. Many Muslim leaders began asking a difficult question: if British promises could change under political pressure, who would protect Muslim interests in the future? That question pushed the League in a new direction. In 1913, it changed its constitution and added the goal of self-government suitable to India through constitutional means. And in the same year, Muhammad Ali Jinnah joined the Muslim League. But this is important. Jinnah was not joining a Pakistan movement. At that time, he still believed strongly in Hindu-Muslim cooperation. For a short time, that cooperation looked possible. In 1916, the Muslim League and the Indian National Congress reached the Lucknow Pact. Congress accepted separate Muslim electorates, and both sides agreed on a joint constitutional plan. For people who feared permanent conflict, Lucknow looked like hope. Jinnah became famous for trying to bring the 2 major political communities together. A united political future still seemed possible, but the unity did not last. After the First World War, politics became more emotional and more uncertain. The Khilafat and non-cooperation movements brought many Muslims and Hindus into common protest, but that partnership also weakened with time. By the mid-1920s, old disagreements had returned. The biggest question was still unresolved. In a future democratic India, how could Muslims protect their political voice, especially where they were a minority? Then came another constitutional battle. In 1928, the Nehru Report proposed a future constitution for India. It preferred joint electorates and a stronger central system than many Muslim leaders wanted. Muslim opinion was not completely united. Some Muslims were ready to accept parts of the plan. Others strongly rejected it. Jinnah tried to negotiate changes, but his main amendments were not accepted. In 1929, Jinnah answered with a set of constitutional demands remembered as his 14 points. They called for a federal system, strong provincial powers, Muslim representation, and protection for Muslim-majority provinces. Still, this was not yet a demand for Pakistan. The fight was still mainly about how Muslims would live safely and politically inside a future Indian constitutional system. But one man was beginning to think more deeply about the shape of that system. His name was Muhammad Iqbal, poet, philosopher, lawyer, and by then, an important voice in Muslim politics. Iqbal believed Islam was not only a private faith. For him, it also shaped law, society, ethics, and community life. He feared that a political system based only on a single numerical majority could leave Indian Muslims without enough power to shape their own future. On 29 December 1930, Iqbal stood before the annual session of the All India Muslim League at Allahabad. What he said there would later become one of the most discussed speeches in Pakistan's history. Iqbal proposed that Punjab, the northwest frontier province, Sindh, and Balochistan should be joined into one Muslim state or political unit in northwestern India. He said he wanted to see these regions combined into a single state, whether under the British Empire or outside it. For many later Pakistanis, this sounded like the first clear political vision of a Muslim homeland, but history needs one important caution. Iqbal did not use the word Pakistan in this speech. He did not present the exact borders of the country created in 1947, and he did not include Bengal in this main northwestern proposal. Historians also debate exactly how independent Iqbal's proposed state was meant to be. Some read it as an autonomous Muslim unit inside a wider Indian federation. Others see it as pointing toward eventual Muslim sovereignty. So Iqbal gave the idea a powerful political direction, but not the final name. That name would appear more than 2 years later, not in Lahore or Delhi, but inside a small student circle in Cambridge, England. Choudhary Rahmat Ali was a Muslim student from Punjab studying at Cambridge. He was deeply unhappy with plans for an all-India federation. He believed the Muslim-majority Northwest should have a separate national future. On 28 January 1933, Rahmat Ali and several fellow students issued a pamphlet with a dramatic title, "Now or Never, Are We to Live or Perish Forever?" Inside that pamphlet appeared the name that would change history, Pakistan. In early printings, the spelling also appeared as Pakistan, but the name Pakistan became the form that survived. Rahmat Ali connected the name to Punjab, the Afghan or northwest frontier province, Kashmir, Sindh, and Balochistan. The ending stan also carries the meaning of land in Persian, but Rahmat Ali's plan was not simply Iqbal's Allahabad proposal with a new name. It was more direct and more radical. He wanted a separate Muslim federation outside an all-India federation. He even attacked Muslim delegates who were accepting plans for a united Indian federation. To Rahmat Ali, that system could never give the northwestern Muslims the national freedom he believed they needed. Yet there was a problem. Many major Muslim politicians did not accept Rahmat Ali's plan in 1933. Some Muslim witnesses discussing constitutional reform in Britain dismissed it as a student scheme that was unrealistic, and the Muslim League itself did not suddenly adopt the name Pakistan. There was still no mass campaign demanding a new country. Muslim politics remained divided, and the League itself was struggling with internal weakness. This is what makes the story so important. Pakistan did not begin as one idea spoken by one man on one day. Different people were answering different questions. Iqbal asked how Muslim-majority regions could gain the political space to develop their own society. Rahmat Ali asked why they should remain inside an Indian federation at all. The Muslim League was still trying to find a practical political path. These ideas were related, but they were not identical. And in 1933, none of them had yet become a movement powerful enough to create a country. Meanwhile, the man who would eventually turn Muslim politics into a mass political force was away from the center of Indian politics. Muhammad Ali Jinnah was spending much of this period in London. Muslim League leaders were divided. Muslim politics had several competing groups. There was a name, Pakistan. There was a vision, Muslim political consolidation. But there was still no united machine capable of turning those ideas into power. Then something changed. In 1934, Jinnah returned to active leadership of the Muslim League. He faced a party that was weak, divided, and far from being the voice of all Indian Muslims. He would have to rebuild it province by province, fight elections, deal with Congress, unite rival Muslim leaders, and turn constitutional fears into a political movement ordinary people could understand. And that transformation would lead to the biggest turning point yet. In Part 3, we follow how Muhammad Ali Jinnah changed from the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity into the leader of the movement that would demand Pakistan.